ongoing saga of guys nearing retirement of this golden era of basketball, this generation with Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan at the head. Today I want to talk about a guy who's not officially retired yet, kind of lurking in the wings, not really spoken about. Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters of all time. Phil, I'll go to you first. Where do you think, I mean, we talk about Steph as maybe being the greatest shooter. Where do you think Ray stands in there?
See, it's tough, right? Because I think while Steph is, it's tough to argue against him being the greatest shooter. Part of what he brings is the ability to shot create. I think when you're talking about a catch and shoot shooter, Ray Allen's definitely got to be. I mean, when we're talking about Ray Allen, I think we're talking about more than just a three-point shooter. I think that's unfair, and I think that's something that maybe has kind of it's been a weird label. He's been a fantastic athlete in one of the he keeps himself in the best shape of almost anyone in the league. I mean, if Eddie Curry could have just learned how to eat like Ray Allen, maybe we'd have a different career going on there. But when we see his early days, with UConn and Milwaukee, everyone forgets he was part of that Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell, Ray Allen trio that could score with the best of them. He was incredibly athletic with throwdown brutal dunks.
He was in the dunk contest.
Yeah, he was in the dunk contest, and he was traded for Gary Payton. I mean, tying again to Seattle. And that's no small thing. I mean, it was tough for them to give up Gary, even considering everything. But getting someone like that back, I mean, what sucks to me is people always see him as kind of like this, complimentary piece. He was there next to someone else to make them better. He was the guy in Miami who hit the shot. He was this, but I think he's one of the most underrated guys who've played in the league in a while. A bit better ball handler and rebounder than I think we gave him credit for. Amazing teammate, consummate professional, and movie star. So what more do you want?
Yeah, I think he really ties in well with Paul Pierce. Not just because of the Celtics connection, but a lot of people don't remember those days prior to them joining up in Boston. Well, Pierce was already there, but he was a tremendous athlete. Could put the ball on the floor, could create his own shot, but he changed his career. He changed his game to suit himself as he aged. He took great care of his body. Just incredible longevity and such an effective player for such a long time. And the thing people forget is how good he was defensively. I remember in the finals against Kobe Bryant, he was the one locking him down in those closing moments and was an instrumental piece for the Celtics' success. His defense was just as important as his shooting. And I think what sticks out, two moments stick out for me with Ray Allen. One, of course, the shot when he was with the Heat, but round one against the Chicago Bulls, him and Ben Gordon going at it, hitting three after three after three. That was one of the most incredible first-round series I've ever seen. Probably only now eclipsed by Clippers Spurs last season, but that was one hell of a series, and Ray Allen was a superstar in that series, and I think not enough people recall the days when he was that on his own.
Yeah, and I think just to mention, going back to the Sonics, I think it was 2005. He led that team out of nowhere, out of obscurity, and he missed a corner in the second round of the playoffs. He missed a corner baseline shot in and out that would have brought them to the third round of the playoffs. So it's just kind of been lost in history how much he did before he got to Boston. Even with Milwaukee, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals during 2001 when they faced the Sixers. This was after Vince Carter missed the baseline shot himself. So he has a lot going. He had a lot going on for himself before he even got to the Celtics. Phil, talking about Game 6 against Miami, it's one of those rare basketball plays or sports plays in general where you remember where you were when you saw it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was actually in my apartment in living in Montreal, and I literally forgot to make plans that day to see. I had just kind of stuffed myself in my living room watching it. I don't even think I was. Yeah, it was just one of those moments where I don't know. I was having trouble cheering for Miami, so I feel like that whole playoff run was me rooting against Miami. And then just seeing that, I was just like, oh, I wanted Duncan to get that. For nothing else, then I wanted Duncan to have that extra ring over Kobe. And I know that sounds so weird, and we're talking about Ray Allen guarding Kobe, but I feel that, as awesome as that shot was, I still feel that year was still the one that Spurs let go away, get away.
Justin, where were you for that shot?
I was watching it with my brother. We were downstairs, parents' basement. It was fairly late at night at that point, and I remember, like, my brother was just a wreck because he was rooting hard for Miami during that time. He's always been a big Chris Bosh fan, and like he was a wreck prior to that whole sequence that led to that. So he was freaking out, just like complete despair leading up to it, and then he just screamed and woke up the whole house. He just lost his mind at that Ray Allen 3, and that always stands out to me. I'll always remember that, though. It was just incredible shot, an incredible run, and really the offensive rebound that Chris Bosh got there was massive, and the awareness to kick it out to Allen in the corner, who just got his feet behind the line just in time to release that with that signature phone booth shot. That's something that'll always stick in my mind.
I'd read in the years afterwards that Ray Allen had been doing this practice drill he created for years where he would basically lie down on the free throw line, face down, and then jump up and sprint to the corner and take a three. And so this was literally the embodiment of years and years of practicing for that kind of frenzied moment. And as for myself, I was in a cafe. It was just about to strike midnight, and we were a packed house watching this game. And it was raining and thunder and lightning. And the TV, right after it hit the shot, the TV went out. And we thought that there was like a power outage, and we're hooting and hollering, and they're like, no, you got to go home. We're closing. Go home right now. And like we started screaming at them. They kicked us out, and I ran home in the rain and caught the overtime. But it's just one of those moments, just like Steph Curry's shot last week, that you're always going to remember where you were. Phil, any last thoughts on Ray Allen?
Only that he's got game, and he always has, and people got to recognize. And you know what? We talk a lot about 3-and-D people in today's NBA. He was one of the best and has been for years. So, Ray Allen.
Justin, last shot?
Last with Ray Allen?
Yeah.
Geez. The last thing that sticks out in my mind, it's just the release. I don't think we're ever going to see someone necessarily with that release. Steph Curry has a more traditional in front of him shot, and that's straight up and down, both hands above his head. At the upper body strength that takes, I don't know if you've ever tried to mimic it, but it's exhausting. But the amount of work that he put in before every game, like you said, laying on the free throw line and sprinting to the corner, all the work he put in paid off with the unique game that he was able to carve out for himself, and the way he was able to reinvent his game throughout his career. So that's always going to stand out to me.
Yeah, and the one last moment thing about Ray Allen I have to mention, it still stands out to me. Apparently the man never ate a hamburger. So
wow.
God bless you.
Missing out, they're delicious.